Quazi here. In today's video, I want to talk to you about mastering Neville Goddard's law of assumption and the 3 main keys you must know to fully master it and have it work for you in your life. Let's go right ahead and get started. So the biggest problem I find with Neville Goddard's law of assumption, and the biggest question I get, is people struggling with staying with the assumption. You can invoke the assumption, but you can't stay with it. Let's talk about that. The biggest problem, staying with the assumption. So what does that look like? Let's say you assume that you're gonna have a successful business, you're gonna make 10K a month in your business or 20K a month or whatever, right? And then somewhere along the way, you keep trying and you get all of these setbacks. And every single month you keep getting setbacks, and then your assumption gets challenged. You're like, oh, maybe it's not gonna happen. Maybe I should try something else. Maybe. All these maybes. And all these doubts and hesitations are actually acting to your detriment. So the question is, in those times, in those challenging times, how do you stick with the assumption? So I want to make this video really short. We're going to get right to the 3 keys that'll allow you to solve the biggest problem with Neville Goddard's law of assumption, which is staying with it. You must learn to stay with it, because if you don't stay with it, if you don't stay with your assumption for long enough, it doesn't have time to materialize. Sometimes a little bigger assumption, or when a bigger change needs to happen in your reality, it takes a little bit of time. So therefore you must persist in faith that somehow it'll happen. All right, let's talk about that. Key number 1. We actually talked about this in a previous video. If you haven't checked that out, click the link in the comments. It's going to be pinned to check that video out. But this is having the assumption of being, doing, having. I'm going to explain that in a second. Let's write that down. Assumption of being, doing, having. Now, what most people do is they have assumptions of having. They're like, all right, I want to have this. I want to have the nice car, the nice jewelry, the nice money, the nice everything. And then they make an assumption, all right, I got to do this and do this and do that. But they never make the assumption of who they've got to be and stay with the assumption. So if I'm making the assumption that I will have everything that I want, that's fantastic. I'm making the assumption that this will all be done to get there, or this will all be done as I'm having it. That's great. But are you making the assumption that you already are that which is capable of effortlessly achieving that? That is the crucial part. That I already am the ideal self that is capable of effortlessly living that is worthy and deserving of receiving that. That is the assumption that you need to make. The assumption of being. Okay? So ask yourself this: what are some of the qualities that this ideal self, if you were the ideal self that had your ideal business, ideal marriage, ideal health, if you were having all of those and you were doing all of those, who would you be? What are some of the characteristics this person would have? Can you put your hand in the fire and say that you are embodying those characteristics every single day? If you cannot, then you will move towards it. So you must get a clear picture of who you are being, some characteristics of that, and embody them now. And by characteristics, I mean things that can be embodied right now. And this always begins with the feeling. When you feel that you are that person, that ideal self has taken over your body right now, this physical form, that is what you need to picture. That you are that you are feeling that, and it's almost as though you've come to the past to catch up this reality to that. Leave me a question if that doesn't make sense. But that's what you need to do. And these characteristics are unique to everyone. Your ideal self might be more driven, or calmer, or more peaceful, or it could be something else completely. And something we do in our paid program is we give ourselves an alignment to ideal self rating. Once we get clear on who we need to be to effortlessly achieve and have and do all of the things that we want, at the end of the day, we give ourselves an alignment to ideal self, an ATIS rating. Out of 10, how aligned were you to your ideal self? So for example, in my ideal self, I see this Quazi as less distracted, more focused, taking action naturally. If I have this picture of this ideal self in my mind, how aligned was this character today to that ideal self? And usually now, it's an 8 to 10. When I started off, it was like a 3 to 4. So over time, as you have a clearer picture, you move more and more towards this ideal self. That's the number 1 key you must know. Number 2, having faith in your assumption. What do I mean by this? This is so crucial, because when you are not biased, and yes, I mean this. If you look at every single successful person, they are delusional. If you look at Elon Musk, read his autobiography, he lives in his own world. He bases every single decision on his ability to get to Mars. So if there's a funding decision he has for Tesla, he's like, if I make this decision, will it help me get 1 step closer to Mars? If I make that decision, will it help me get 1 step closer to getting to Mars? Right? So he was always delusional. But his conviction in his delusion was so great that he literally created his reality. That's how you need to become. You can't be so feeble in your assumption. You have to own your assumption and double down on it and assume that the whole world is going to bend over backwards so that you can have your assumption. That is the key. And the stronger your conviction is in your assumption, the faster, the more powerfully, the more intensely it will come alive. Have faith in your assumption even despite all the setbacks and challenges. Whatever setbacks and challenges that occur, don't allow it to steep you in doubt or hesitation, but allow it to make you stronger in your assumption. Oh, this is happening. This is great. This needed to happen for me to get to my assumption. This all needed to happen for me to get there. Oh, I just made 6 5K months in a row. Great. The next month is going to be a 10K month. It's literally coming. I can feel it. Don't let anything challenge your assumption. That is what you need to remember. This doesn't mean you're closed off to suggestion, by the way. This doesn't mean you're closed-minded to trying new things. If you do not give up, you cannot fail. If you keep persisting and you never give up, you cannot fail. That's the truth. Eventually, it'll just happen. It'll just happen. You just need to be able to stick to it long enough. That's number 2. Number 3, and this is a huge bonus, okay? This is the one tip that's going to change your life. What you must do to stay with the assumption the most effectively is ground your assumptions, ground them in confirmation. What do I mean by that? The reason why you don't have faith in your assumption is because faith is without any sort of proof. And the analytical mind requires proof, and the conscious mind finds a way to dissuade the subconscious mind. That's the job of the conscious mind, by the way. If you look at the conscious and subconscious masculine-feminine dynamic, I would say the conscious mind is more of a masculine and the subconscious mind is more of a feminine, the more powerful, but this power needs to be channeled. And so when I say that, what I mean is the conscious mind, the masculine, finds a way to always influences the subconscious. It channels the power of the subconscious. And when the conscious mind lacks proof and confirmation, it cannot believe anything. It's like the adult and the child. The conscious is the adult and the child, the creative, is the subconscious. And the adult tells the child, oh no, you cannot have this because this condition hasn't been met. You know, you cannot have that 10K month because for the past 3 years you've been making 5K. You cannot have that. It cannot happen. Try something else. Cancel. And the conscious mind just needs proof and evidence. To do that, what you must do is ground everything in confirmation. So if I make an assumption that, hey, I'm this 20K a month, this 7-figure business owner, every single little event that occurs that remotely signals my progress towards my assumption, I will notice that and I will reward it. So for example, if I want to get to a 20K or 30K month and one day I have a client reaching out to me through a referral or something, I'm like, look, this is happening. That 20K month is happening. Or I make a video and it goes viral. Look, it's happening. This 20K a month is happening. I'm grounding it in confirmation. Look, someone said this video changed their life. It's happening. I am a great coach. I am being this ideal self. I am becoming it every single day. If you look at me and my past videos, you're going to see the evolution that's happened. Like how I used to be is completely different from who I am now and how I conduct myself now. And you can see that journey literally happening from the past 3-4 years. And this all happened because as a result of practicing all of these things that we preach and teach in our program, which is you must come from the being, the core, which is the result of all the doing and the having. When you knock the big domino, the little dominoes topple as well. I hope this was helpful. With that, I conclude this video. Thank you so much for watching. Leave me a comment letting me know what you thought of this, if you liked this or not, or you have other questions. If you're new to the channel, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and hit that little bell there so you're notified of any new video that I put out. And also, please check out the referenced videos, and as well, you can take advantage of our 5-video free bootcamp that I've got for you. To get access to that, click on the link in the description below. I'll also put in the pinned comments. You can also access other exclusive content that, because of YouTube's platform limitations, I can't quite share. The link for that is also going to be in the description. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Till next time, peace.